Welcome, Hazel. Hazel Cooper, who is actually going to tell us about her experiences, actually to an extent, her unexpected experiences of horse riding. Right. So, Hazel, how is it you turned out to be unexpectedly on horseback?
Well, the point was that we had gone to Canada at that time of year, which was in March, because we wanted the tail end of the winter sports season, partly because it was a little bit cheaper there at Banff where we were going to stay. As my husband and myself and our two daughters, Caroline and Jennifer. And Caroline and Jennifer were really looking forward to skiing at Banff or at Lake Louise. And my husband, who's a professional photographer, was looking forward to add to his portfolio with lovely scenes of the Rockies and the wildlife there, you see. So that was the original intention. But on the drive over, having picked up the rental car at Calgary, driving over to Banff, we suddenly noticed to our rather astonishment that the Rockies were not looking quite the sort of white covered slopes that we had expected. Sort of more than halfway up, it was sort of, quite looking like a sort of English, rather like an English hillside scene. So we thought maybe there might be a little fall of snow in the night and the next morning might be a bit different, but it wasn't. And then the tour rep came to the hotel to see that everything was settling down all right, and we said yes, but we're disappointed, there isn't any snow. Well, she had this other string to her bow, you see. She said, well, I've heard that the trails are going to be open. It could be very nice going to trekking through the woods around here. What do you think about that? And we thought, yes, that sounds pretty good. I mean, I had happy memories of having done donkey riding at Western-super-Mare quite a considerable time ago. So anyway, we set off. We phoned up this Martin's stables and my husband drove us over and dropped us there so that he could go photographing. And then we found ourselves in a paddock with 7 other people of obviously different nationalities, also looking a bit nervously at each other and wondering what to expect. And then our horses were brought in. Well, I'm quite small and I rather hoped that I would have quite, excuse me, quite a small horse, but I was given Joey, who was actually quite a large horse. And I was a little bit timid, but Zoe was very friendly. We were encouraged to pat them and talk to them to familiarise them with us. Excuse me. Oh, gosh. And so then we were suggested that we mounted, you see. Well, I found it quite difficult. So there's quite a bit of sort of pushing and shoving. And eventually I was in the saddle and astride Joey. And then we sort of got ourselves in a line. And Joey seemed to think that he was more important than the rest. He sort of pushed the others aside and got himself behind Cody, who was our leader. And off we set. And it was lovely. In the beginning, we were walking through the woodland. There were Canadian pines, obviously overhead, with squirrels among the branches. Every now and again, there were little side paths, and Joey seemed to feel he would like to go down these, but that was a bit hair-raising because they were still covered with ice, and his hooves kept slipping, so I was really a bit worried, but pulled him back again with the reins. And so the first half of the trek was walking quietly through this woodland, and then we came to open fields, and we could see there were elk in some, and elsewhere we saw a moose. And then on the way back to the paddock, there was a beautiful lake with a beaver or a muskrat just swimming through it with the ripples just spreading gently outwards, which was really lovely. And then all of a sudden we were back in the paddock again and dismounting. And of course, at that time of the stage of the ride, your thighs are sort of feeling like they'll never actually sort of move a muscle again. And we dismounted, and the lady next to me said something animatedly, and I don't know what language she was using, but I knew exactly what she meant. Yes. So back to the hotel, the hot tub, sitting on the terrace with the mountains around, and a cup of hot chocolate. Nice way to end the day.
That was your first experience, but it didn't entirely put you off because you set off to America next to California, yes?
Yes, that's right. 18 months later, we were at a motel in Santa Carmel near Monterey. Again, looking through the plethora of things on the display thing. So, horse riding. Well, we enjoyed that one in Canada. Why don't we do this one? So again, made a phone call. This time it was called the Holman Ranch and Riding Stables, and it's about half an hour's drive away. And again, husband dropped us off so that he could go and photograph.
Yeah.
And we went, and this time I was able to get mounted with on the horse without any assistance,
Okay.
which I was proud of. And there were just the three of us this time, and we were led round by Sarah, who was the daughter of the owner. The horses were very good natured, in fact a little bit too placid. We had to keep nudging them to actually keep them moving, but at one point my horse did decide he would like to nudge itself up, and he bit Jennifer's horse on the bottom, so she was not happy, and she was trying to move her horse away and I was trying to pull my horse back. Again, lovely scenery, completely different, dry and dusty, and this time sort of oak trees replaced the pines, and excuse me, saw an acorn woodpecker amongst the trees. And at one stage we looked to the side and there was a mule deer and her little calf just staring at us through the reeds. And we just looked at each other and she just turned very quietly and they just walked away. And we got to the top of obviously the halfway point, and we sort of sat there to sort of just take in the scenery, and as far as we could see our side of it, it was just all dusty gold grass, lovely, and then it contrasted on the other side of the valley with the green of the Santa Lucia range. It was just lovely, and there were some turkey vultures overhead sort of on the thermals, and yellow-billed magpies were sort of trotting around, pottering around on the grass. And then sort of Sarah was her name, nodded at us and she nudged her horse with her heels, and we did the same and just trotted quietly down back to the ranch there.